Alright, boys, so today we got the fall of Bobby Shmurda.
A rapper getting jammed up in legal situations isn't exactly anything new. Between RICO cases and
Bobby
other run-ins
Shmurda,
with the
bro.
law, it's
What a
not
great
uncommon for
artist.
rappers to end up behind bars, only for their careers to keep going like nothing ever happened, thanks to music they dropped prior to or even during their time inside. But there's no one who emerged from jail as a conquering hero quite like Bobby Shmurda. Following a 6-year bid, the Brooklyn drill pioneer seemed to be returning to his music career as a made man. Yet what seemed like a golden opportunity would ultimately wither to the point that, today, he
What
can't
the
even get
hell?
more than 10 people in a room to watch him perform. And now, it's tragic to see how someone who had the world in his palm managed to let it slip through his fingers. It's your boy Luesta, and today we're talking
to be
about
fair,
the
what has
fall
he
of Bobby
dropped
Shmurda. From
since-
his explosive rise
since
that crowned
this?
him a drill
I feel like
legend,
there hasn't
to
been
the
any
years
hits,
behind
no?
bars that earned him his unmatched respect, and the unexpected downfall that no one could have predicted. Let's briefly take it back to the year 2014, when Bobby Shmurda first emerged onto the scene. Unless you lived through it in real time, it's hard to grasp just how massive Bobby's movement really was. After the timeless track Hot was released alongside his equally timeless
Hot nigga! Hot nigga! Say it or don't say it, bro.
music video, Bobby was credited with single-handedly resurrecting the East
About a
Coast.
week
Plus,
ago.
its virality looked like it would never subside, as it became somewhat of an online mystery of where his hat went after being tossed in the air, to the point that it's now a timeless meme. Then came the Shmoney dance,
Shmoney.
Run up on that nigga, get the squeezing hoe.
an infectious move that went global and essentially took over the world. Even
Yeah,
getting a
bro.
cosign from Beyonce and
Bro, this
Jay-Z
song
when they
still
unveiled
gets
their own
played,
interpretation
clubs,
during their
anywhere,
stadium
bro.
tour that year.
And everybody gets up.
You see Jay-Z and Beyonce on their tour doing the dance?
I love the
Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Hey, shout out the king and the queen. Baby.
It was such a phenomenon that Bobby even had the USA basketball team doing it at the Olympics led by
this is
James
crazy.
Harden, as well as footage emerging of soldiers hitting it in Iraq. As tracks like Computers and Bobby Bitch emerged, Bobby's momentum was that of a runaway train rather than your average buzzing rapper. Soon, he was signed to Epic Records, reportedly getting more than $1 million in advance. However, the deal only added to his mythical status in hip-hop circles, as footage of him turning up to the contract signing went crazy online.
That's actually insane.
When explaining the moment to
Goddamn, bro.
Complex in an interview, he explained that people where I come from don't make it to these places. A lot of people wouldn't expect to be sitting here. I had meetings with millionaires. I never seen a millionaire, probably the judge. Within a matter of months, he went from a young kid repping GS9, who claimed he'd be selling crack since the 5th grade, to a rising star with the
been
entire
selling
rap
crack
game
since the
watching.
5th
And
grade.
while we'll break down the origins of GS9 later, since they do play a major role in his eventual downfall, what mattered in that moment was that Bobby had already proven he wasn't just a one-hit wonder, forcing even his harshest critics to admit that he tapped into something special. Even MCs whose style greatly differed from him, like Slaughterhouse's Joel Ortiz, saw the value in his contributions and how it re-energized the scene.
I love Bobby Shmurda.
Break it down.
I'm gonna tell you why. It has nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with lyricism.
Obviously.
Cause y'all saw the video.
Yes.
I
So
think that's why that matters the most, though. It's because it's been really, really pretty for a long time now. I'm tired of what New York has been looking like. I'm glad he took them to the Ave. I'm glad he took it to plastic cups. It's been too shiny, tight, and bright for a while now. It was genuine. It wasn't made up. It wasn't gimmick. It went because it felt, everybody liked it. People stopped seeing what New York looked like, man. Like, I'm happy.
That's real shit.
No doubt, Bobby's influence didn't stop at the US.
He kept it real.
And Charlemagne the God saw it for himself on a trip to England.
Just caught a body about a week ago. I was in London. I was hosting a party at Club K in Hounslow. The DJ, first record he played, Bobby Shmurda, Hot. The whole club.
Bro, it still happens now, fam.
Yeah,
It's
that
still,
was
bro,
like
that
a
song's
hot
generational.
Local New York record.
Hot local
Played
New
in
York
Harlem,
record.
maybe in Brooklyn, and that's about it.
Absolutely.
It wouldn't have even made it to like Jersey.
Wouldn't have made it to Jersey.
Right.
But to see it all the way in London, and they're singing it.
With the track Hot peaking at number 6 on the charts, it was no surprise that the re-release
know about
went
that.
gold too. And with that, he had all the momentum in the world on his side. Sadly, the phenomenal run he was on would come to a screeching halt, with Bobby facing the consequences of the life he was living before rap as they came back to bite him. After moving to Brooklyn as a kid, Bobby was already hanging around older crowds, and it wasn't long before he had his first run-in with the law. It's fair to say that he was no stranger to that world, as he once stated in an interview with GQ that he doesn't care about jail, as he became used to being locked up all the time since he was 12. But things have changed.
That's actually mental. At 12 years old, you're getting locked up. Bro, what was I doing when I was 12, bro? Bro, Fortnite was Fortnite out when I was 12? I was 12, 9 years ago. Oh my god. Oh my god. You know what?
Ever
Yeah,
since
let's just
then.
continue,
And
bro.
now, the kid who grew up on Flatbush's most treacherous street
I'm
corners
so old.
was the city's great hope. But while he was celebrated by some, there's reason to believe he was being actively pursued by others. From the minute he obtained fame, Bobby's manager Donnie Flores claims that the law had it in for him. According to his account,
Makes
Bobby
sense.
witnessed the police dancing and singing to Hot after arresting him. One cop was like, "Oh my god, this is what my daughter is listening to? I don't know what was going on," Flores said. "Now I know, they targeted him." With the cops breathing down his neck,
Oh, shit.
Bobby's team urged him to switch up his lifestyle and get out of the city. But according to Epic A&R Sean Money XL, who first discovered him, Bobby wasn't trying to hear it. As the more he urged him to do the right thing, Bobby would, quote, fight him on it every time. Whether he realized it or not, Bobby's unwillingness to switch up his lifestyle or distance himself from certain people set the stage for everything to fall apart. By December
You see, this is what happens all the time. You make it out. You see, it's so hard to make it out. Then you finally get this opportunity to make it out, but you don't want to make it out. Like, bro, what? It's the same thing with Lil Durk and King Von. When Von got shot and when he got killed, everybody was telling Lil Durk to slide for Von, which I understand why. But bro, he can't just go back to being a straight nigga and then he gets locked up. And now he is locked up. Like, you see, like, it's just so, bro.
2014,
gotta
the
be
wave he was
smart
riding
about
would come
this.
to a crashing halt, and from that point forward, the buzz around his music would be replaced by a louder rallying cry, which was "Free Bobby Shmurda."
Bobby Shmurda, who refused to be
15,
caught lacking
damn.
in Brownsville, and he's out of Brownsville, New York. He was ran down on by the police. But police ran down on Bobby Shmurda on June 3rd, and
Just
of course
academics
he hid
sound so
9
weird. What the
millimeter
hell?
Glock pistol with an extra magazine holding about 14 bullets in between his couch when they ran up on him. But now, he was charged with felony criminal possession of a weapon, and he's ultimately facing up to 15 years in jail.
The takedown of GS9 was among the first high-profile Ricos to rock hip-hop. Alongside fellow rapper Rowdy Rebel, he and 12 other alleged members of the G-Stone Crips were arrested during a dramatic raid at New York's Quad Studios, where police reportedly recovered over 21 firearms.
Damn.
At the time of their arrest, the NYPD spoke of a successful sting operation, which dubbed GS9 as a criminal street organization. According to prosecutors, the alleged conspiracy stretched from January 2013 to October 2014, during which members of GS9 were charged with everything from murder and
Why is
assault
the crowd
to
not
weapons and drug offenses, which are all said to be part of their effort to maintain control over their turf. Although not directly tied to it, a large chunk of the violence was believed to stem from an ongoing turf war between GS9 and rival street crews, most notably Folk Nation and a group known as Brooklyn's Most Wanted, or BMW. Alongside his fellow gang members, Bobby was charged with conspiracy to commit murder, reckless
Damn.
endangerment, drug
Damn.
possession, and
Damn.
weapon offenses.
Damn.
And the second it became
Yeah.
publicly known, the hip-hop
Yeah, no,
world
he's-
began
he's-
to campaign
he's
for his
cooked.
freedom. Suddenly stuck in Rikers Island, Bobby communicated with the outside world whenever he could as he awaited a resolution to the case. Somehow, XXL was able to get a direct statement from him during a rare interview where he shed light on the situation. Here, Bobby Shmurda said that the authorities had no real evidence against him and were trying to make him look guilty just because of who he was associated with. He claimed no guns were found on him, none had his DNA, and that the charges were based on guilty by association. Lastly, he believed that his rights were being violated and that the case was being dragged out unfairly. No matter what Bobby said, his GS9 collective soon began to receive lengthy sentences. For instance, a man named Rashid Rashad Darrison was sentenced to over 98 years
Oh
in prison.
my
while
god.
Alex
What's the point? What's the point? Just give him life. 98. Bro. Like what? Even a newborn ain't surviving 98 years in prison, bro. Just give him life. What's the point?
A-Rod Crandon was hit with a 50-year prison sentence.
Damn.
In the end, Bobby took a 7-year plea deal for conspiracy to possess a weapon. And while this is something that's often seen as a setback, it actually boosted his reputation in this case. Instead, it became a moment that solidified him as an honorable man in a world of snakes, when it was revealed that he took extra time solely to help Rowdy Rebel out. "I did it for Rowdy. They offered me 5 and offered Rowdy 12, Shmurda said in an interview. "They said the only way they'll give him 7 is if I took 7 too. So I had to take one for the dogs."
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know exactly what they did. Maybe I shouldn't be clapping, but you know what? That's a real homie, bro. I know I would never do this for my boys. If any of my boys are watching, I'm never doing this for you, bro. It's not happening. I'm sorry, it's just not happening, bro. I love freedom way too much.
Rowdy later revealed exactly how it went down, only cementing the view that he was a stand-up guy.
Forget the 5 years for Bobby, and forget the 12 years for me, and forget the 12 for Monte. We're willing to give me and Monte 7 years now instead of 12. And instead of Bobby getting 5, we're willing to give him 7 for them. So it's basically like, we'll give them 7 years
if Bobby takes
you
7.
take 7 years instead of 5 now. You feel me?
Crazy.
So when it came back, so it wasn't like, oh, you take this for that, but basically it was like that. Because when it came back and said, yo, no more 5 years on the table for him, it was 7 now, and 7 for all of us. It was basically saying, you're gonna have to take 7 years for them to get 7.
Let me ask you this, he could have took 5 though if he wanted.
Hell yeah.
But for all that this was hugely beneficial to Rowdy Rebel's life, the impact that it had on Bobby's reputation was immeasurable. Suddenly, he was saluted by the likes of Boosie for this selfless act.
I want every friend, I want all my friends' name to be Bobby Shmurda.
Everybody.
Every one of them.
That's crazy.
That's one of the realest young ever. Yeah. You name one person to do that. They couldn't sit for 5 months. You think they would have did a 7 ball?
Oh, hell no.
Salute Bobby Shmurda, bro.
Plus, what didn't hurt the public perception of him was that he still kept it thorough, leading to various scuffles that, at one point, got Bobby pepper sprayed when he reportedly got into a fight with 5 others. It's believed that the fight was a Crips versus Blood situation, with Bobby repping the GS9 affiliated blue side of the divide. While he probably wasn't going to get any points for good behavior after that, things went from bad to worse for Bobby, when his girlfriend was caught trying to give the rapper a blade during a visit. During her trip to the jail, she was caught with a white latex balloon, which was wrapped in electrical tape and contained a knife. This meant that Bobby was hit with 3 more charges: possession of a weapon, promoting prison contraband, and a charge of perjury after he denied it outright. Bobby got 4 years, but it didn't add any additional time to his sentence. Still, his troubles wouldn't end there. In November of 2016, Shmurda was involved in another prison brawl and was sent to solitary confinement for a month. As a result, his phone and
What? If this is just how it looks like in the movies, god damn. God damn. A month.
Commissary privileges were also taken from him. And after he was finally released, he spoke about the tensions in the prison system and how his reputation outside the walls caused problems on the inside.
I seen you kind of touch on that you kind of had some brawls and situations when you were in jail, or there was times where you had to walk in the mess hall with a lot of dudes who might not have liked you, or
yeah, it was some times like that. I ain't gonna say they didn't like me. They wasn't supposed to like me, but I'm Bobby Shmurda. Everybody likes me. They wasn't supposed to like me though because of the neighborhood, that I'm coming from. They didn't like that. They didn't like the community I was coming from. They didn't like the community I was coming from, but they liked the individual. So some tried, some fell back, how it goes.
Still, as he remained behind bars, there was always a sense that he had good things to look forward to when he was finally permitted to return back to the world. As whenever his name came up, some of the most revered figures in hip-hop let it be known that they were on his side, such as Young Thug, who claimed that when Bobby got out, that he for sure got something for him. Real men are still on earth. Rewards don't come with keeping it real, but in this case it does. The definition of loyalty and principles. As for his status in New York, it became clear that he was still regarded as the next great hope, and that he'd simply reclaim his spot from the minute that he returned to civilization.
This doesn't set New York back. We still created hip hop. We still have Sedgwick. We're in Bobby Shmurda. Bobby Shmurda be home soon.
When he was behind bars, Bobby's career was largely dormant, aside from one feature on a Tekashi 6ix9ine track in the form of Stupid. But once Tekashi's true colors were exposed, Bobby distanced himself from the track and made it clear that he would never work with a snitch ever again.
Telling on everybody and getting everyone else locked up. Would you do a song with Tekashi after you got out?
Motherfucker, no. I don't even want to connect to that damn. Oh, good, yeah.
As usual, this got Bobby saluted by those who saw him as the epitome of staying solid in the face of adversity. Yet, what no one would have predicted before he came out of a cell is that that track with Tekashi 6ix9ine would sadly end up being his final entry on the Billboard charts, peaking at number 25. Because, to everyone's surprise, Bobby's eventual release in 2021 was not really the victory lap that everyone was sure it would be. In fact, it basically seemed that all of that support he had prior to being released evaporated the moment that he stepped out on the pavement again. When Bobby first got out, the energy was electric. Quavo picked him up in a private jet, and his return felt like a win for hip-hop, which was celebrated not just by the fans, but by major artists across the game. YG took to his story to say, "Bobby Shmurda is how it's supposed to look when you come home from jail. Real celebration. That's how it's supposed to look." While popular hip-hop media pundits such as Joe Budden claimed that he was the example that Tekashi 6ix9ine could not set.
It's sad that the young people don't know that there are benefits to be reaped with integrity.
I know, they
That's
know.
my point.
Obviously, they do know.
That's my point.
One was authentic and one wasn't. And that's kind of my problem with just everything having to be perception. Listen, we don't even got to put these.
We don't
two,
have to associate.
We don't even have to put them in the same breath.
Yeah,
Listen,
please.
welcome home to
One was a
Bobby.
marketing
plan. One.
With Bobby's streams jumping up 624% in the days after he stepped out of the penitentiary, it seemed like the whole culture was rejoicing. And soon, he was seen partying with veteran artists like Drake and Chris Brown, who would have never known who this kid from Brooklyn was prior to his viral fame in 2014. As a free man, Bobby was set up for world domination, and then nothing. There were a few factors behind this. First off, there was his high-profile dispute with Epic Records, the record label he was signed to. While he was inside, Bobby's relationship with the label that he was seen prancing around the table for pretty much turned sour. And from the outset, people wondered how Bobby would function in a system like that.
My only thing, I think he should have stayed independent unless Epic gave him a nice check. Because as and I don't know if he got other records or not, but we've seen people like Trinidad James. You can say whatever you want about Trinidad James, but if he got $2 million for damn near a single, because that's all he had was that one record, salute to him. I'm not mad at him. Take that money and motherfucking run. Same thing with Bobby Shmurda. If they gave him some nice 6-7 figure money, take it and run.
Well, you know, I'd heard that Drake and French Montana are on the remix.
Wow. That's gonna take that record to another place then. I like what Bobby Shmurda doing. I like the energy, man. Have fun, man.
And when he was in jail, Bobby began to rage against the system, claiming, "When I got locked up, I thought they were going to come for me." Bobby told the New York Times from the Manhattan detention complex after his 2015 arrest, but they never came. They told me they were going to help me make myself a star in the business for a decade. I'm going to try my best to go back on the deal. If not, I'll give them their music and bounce. Meanwhile, Bobby continued to hatch big plans that didn't involve Epic, telling Complex that he planned to rap, act, and write a book once released. Plus, while still in jail, Shmurda had mapped out his future collaborators, citing Jay-Z, Kanye West, and Rick Ross as people he'd want to work with. However, none of these plans came to life. Even the highly anticipated Migos collab on Culture 3, which Quavo once called a must, ended up falling through. As for new music, Bobby tried to explain to the general public why he didn't release anything straight away, insisting that he was just taking it easy for a while. "I'm busy running around, just needed some time to breathe. They had me locked up in the pens doing 23. Yet in interviews and across social media, this became a common theme, as he claimed there was a whole host of exciting new projects inbound, including that mythical collab album with the Migos.
We got all types of like shit coming out, bro. We got that spin. We got that shit, shit. We got them coming out. We got
Okay. So basically, he just gassed people up but never released anything. And I'm guessing when he eventually did, it was ass. I'm guessing this is what happened.
Shit coming out. We got that Shmurda shit coming out. We got the Shmigo shit coming out. We got so much shit coming out. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a little something.
But nearly 8 months after his release in February of 2021, Bobby officially heralded his return with the release of the No Time for Sleep freestyle, and initially, fans rejoiced. 5 years without uploading anything, but nobody forgot about you. This is real fan love. This is the Bobby we need. Although everyone was naturally happy to see him back, the rollout ultimately lacked the impact that was expected. Likewise, where the collab Shmoney with Quavo and Rowdy Rebel made an initial splash, it failed to really become a hit. It never even registered on the Billboard chart.
Damn.
Now, it's been 2 years since a video of his even broke 1 million on YouTube. And while that obviously didn't happen overnight, his initial return to the limelight is now looked at as a misstep that led directly to where he is today.
There's a couple things that I believe that Bobby did.
Oh, God.
Bobby let a lot of niggas soak up his energy for months. And now when he's dropping music, the main attraction to his music, is people looking and critiquing his dancing and movements. Not even listening to the songs. Yo, look at how he's dancing. That's what he's talking about. And I do think that, Bobby fucked up. I know he's trying to get on Roc Nation. He should have just stayed low. Even though I thought he dropped music late, he should have dropped it earlier. If he wasn't dropping music, he should have just been out of sight. It's crazy for me to think that Rowdy Rebel now, I think musically, people are checking for Rowdy more than Bobby. Really, it's fucked up. I don't even know what to say. I feel like Bobby has played this whole thing wrong. And I love Bobby, but he's played it all wrong. We heard about these super hot tracks, none of them are hidden. But the most niggas do is they throw them up on the story. Yo, real nigga with some random emoji. You don't even mention the nigga music coming out.
And while his fans used to hype him up for just being real, a lot of that excitement vanished when the music actually dropped. Bobby Shmurda getting out of jail and doing what he and his team did has to be one of the worst marketing / promoting strategies for a rapper after being released, especially after so much hype. Definitely a failed opportunity, and I doubt he will bounce back.
Just like you
He's
said,
free
just
and
played
happy,
it wrong.
so that's
Just played it
amazing.
wrong.
But man, I had such high hopes for the music, and what I got was a long ass wait. The hype I had. And he finally decided to drop something
crazy.
People love the idea of Bobby getting...
It's 8 months after he left, but he was in jail for 7 years. So it's 7 years and 8 months, technically. So, oh God.
Out more than the fact that he's actually out. Left floundering without the buzz he once had, Bobby continued to campaign for his release from Epic, launching several online attacks at them to try and force their hand. One of which came in the form of an IG post, where Bobby pointed out that the head of his label, 70-year-old Sylvia Rohn, refuses to release him from his contract. Then he vented that despite being signed since he was 19 and even serving 6 years in jail, the label still wouldn't let him go, claiming he made them millions while getting little in return. And finally, he clarified that he wasn't asking for sympathy.
I remember this. Apparently, he did for the track Hot Nigga. I think it was for. No, it can't be for that track. Was it for the track? I don't know. But apparently, he didn't get no money.
But just wanted the fans to understand that the label was holding back his career. In March of 2022, he finally got his wish and has been on his grind ever since. Yet, he's never been able to recapture that momentum from his early career. Just a month after leaving Epic, Bobby dropped the independent project They Don't Know to little to no response. And in the wake of that disappointment, he even took to IG to claim that he had been exiled from the commercial side of the genre. Fuck that. I got major labels jumping me, blackballing me and shit. And I'm from the hood, young and rich, black as shit. Don't give a fuck about both. And they scared of me and I love that ish, he declared. But while no longer having the machine behind him was one thing that would contribute to his downfall, there were other issues too. For one thing, there was the fact that he became the source of a whole lot of hilarity due to his perceived zestiness after coming back from prison. As more and more clips like this emerged, Bobby just got flagrantly clowned.
Oh, shit.
Bobby always used to dance, but there's a big difference between the Shmurda dance and this Chippendale exotic bullshit. It's hard to act that zesty. He's too good at it. Where he once would have been treated with the utmost respect, he soon had people like academics asking him about the allegations, only for Bobby to pretty much ignore it.
Have you seen the people who try to criticize you like, yo, man, the way Bobby's dancing, that's that jail shit, zesty.
Everybody who dance like that, yo, we see all that shit. We be laughing. We be laughing at that shit.
Yo, they be sending me shit, be like, yo, nah, he twerking right here. Yo, Bobby, that's what they saying. Bobby,
you know what it is? It be you talking about the niggas or the girls? Which ones? You talking about the niggas? Gotta be the niggas. All right, so you know those be the niggas like this nigga Bobby over here taking up all the bitches, son. This nigga Bobby up here always fucking up all the bitches. Yo, Bobby, what's up? This nigga Bobby always with all the bitches, man. I can't do that.
Bro, can we? I'm gonna go back 5 seconds. Can we just look at Academic's face? Please.
Bobby, yo, Bobby, what's up? We said this nigga Bobby always with all the bitches, man.
Bro is like, Bro, he doesn't understand anything that my man's saying, bro. What?
I can't do that shit. Guy, he making it hard for a nigga, man.
Then things went from bad to worse when he was seemingly seen in bed with a man, but he insisted that this wasn't the case across a string of posts.
But I was just bullshitting, man.
Oh shit, wait, he actually looks
But
like it.
it's fair to say that not everyone was buying it. This was Bobby seeing if he could trust y'all before coming out. Y'all failed the test, so he backtracked. Now, this shouldn't really be so detrimental to a career in the 21st century. However, when your brand is that of a ruthless street sweeper, suddenly looking a little loose in the hips after a jail stint isn't exactly going to improve your career prospects. Especially when you acknowledge that your hype was diluted, as you made an enemy of the same labels that you were once intent on getting his signature.
We had 160K streams the first day.
And that's all you.
That was all up because they ain't put no. It was crazy because they ain't put no ads on YouTube. They like the distribution company I with. They ain't put no ads on YouTube. So they just let like streams go. So all streams we had like 160K streams the first day. So everything was just going naturally. Every label before labels they put ads on everything.
Left without a single hit in several years, Bobby's career played out entirely different from how everyone expected it to. And now, rather than being that conquering hero, he's now looked at as a cautionary tale of how a rapper has to move when released. Basically, you need to strike fast and make it count. Otherwise, all the street cred in the world won't make a difference. I learned something from the Bobby situation. If you go to prison and you don't snitch, but you come out and don't have a hit song, everyone is gonna treat you as if you did snitch. I also realized that people really didn't care about Bobby. Left embittered about everything that went down after his release from jail, Bobby has started to rally against hip-hop as a culture.
You got these fucking kids following you guys, right?
Okay, so
and when
it's
these
like
kids
this,
are following
man.
you guys and you're fucking rapping about these lifestyles, it's in danger, it's very detrimental. You know what I'm saying? It's very dangerous to the communities that these little kids think that is going on, that you did not even live. You know, and it's supposed to be changing the kids, like the raps, but like I think rap's supposed to be telling motherfuckers to go from negative to positive, coming from poverty to going to riches or stuff like that, and how to stay in that and how to change. That's the shit I want to hear. I want to hear about living life. When I hear some blood clot reggae, I think I'm gonna listen to reggae. I think I like that. So that's why I'm listening to
What
rap.
are you saying? What is he saying, bro? Oh, bro, I'm just hearing words. What are you saying?
I don't listen to rap. I don't know nothing about rappers.
Instead of dropping a whole lot of new music himself, he's predominantly providing aspiring rappers with verses for a check, none of which seems to have tangibly impacted their careers or his. And still to this day, he insists he is being stifled by the industry. Stop asking me to drop music. American DSPs don't allow real bodmen on playlists because I don't paint my fingers. So it's pointless until something is done with the people who own, run, and manage these platforms. But it seems like he might have been exaggerating the level of enthusiasm there was for that new material, as in recent weeks, the true extent of his fall from grace was revealed when his tour was cancelled in chaotic fashion. Dubbed the I'm Still Alive tour, Bobby was meant to head out across the states to perform for his fans. But it seems he anticipated too much out of a tour when his biggest hits were released a decade prior and lashed out at the people who were organizing it. I have to go through lawsuits with these guys, at Philip Stengel, who works at Halo Touring, that I knew better to do business with. Shmurda wrote on IG, "Let this be a real life lesson to all business owners and affiliates. Don't leave nothing in no one's hands, don't matter how much you gotta work." Anyways, I apologize again to all of my fans. I might have to go through some lawsuits and lawyer fee money, aka the industry most wanted ain't nothing new. I've been fighting. However, this would prove to be a serious miscalculation, as what Bobby probably didn't know is that the people he was coming after were about to reveal everything that was really going down. And to say that it wasn't a good look for Shmurda would be an understatement. According to the promoter he mentioned, Philip Stengel, the real reason the tour was cancelled had nothing to do with poor promotion or mismanagement. It was simple. Ticket sales were abysmal, averaging just 10 per city. That's not sustainable for any artist, no matter how big their name is. Bobby may have taken to social media to air his frustrations, but as Stengel pointed out, the numbers told the real story. This wasn't an issue of effort, it was one of demand. In his words, the industry isn't about emotion, it's about execution. If 10 people are buying tickets, there's no show, period. But instead of letting the numbers speak for themselves, Bobby's venting only distracted from the harsh truth. And unfortunately for him, Philip wasn't done talking. Rather than stopping there, Philip Stengel recurrently produced receipts which verified his claims. He then went on IG Live, unveiling exactly how empty these 500 capacity venues were about to be if they persevered with these shows.
Looking at the ticket sales, the room would have to be pulled down to a 100 cap room, maybe even less, which wouldn't even make any sense. Because you look at the ticket sales, like the highest we had was 93. We had shows that had 6 tickets, 0 tickets.
Jesus.
So LA had 15. Chicago had 0.
Oh,
Downsizing the
God.
room on that, a lot of these rooms are owned and ran by those clubs that are 500 cap rooms. That's also going to kill the brand as well. I wouldn't expect an artist that has a massive following to be doing 100 cap rooms.
Was there ever talks of maybe adding somebody else onto the tour?
He rejected it.
Still, Bobby refuses to back down, claiming that the online media landscape is purposefully trying to suppress his shine.
Oh my
This week and the next week, I'm
tired of
posting
this
a lot
nigga,
of
bro.
things that we're gonna be doing, and I do want some support from the blogs. Not that support all the support that I'm getting from like academics, No Jumper, Angelina, Jolie, whatever the name is. You know what I'm saying? The point that don't support what I'm doing, but they support all the bullshit that going on, all the fake shit that doing, you know what I'm saying, is crazy.
But even those who have the utmost respect for what he achieved in the past are now no longer willing to let him engage in these delusions. Bobby Shmurda needs to be doing club appearances. He has no buzz right now. The attraction is dead. No longer at the peak of his career, Bobby is clearly scrambling to make ends meet. And from an optic standpoint, selling watches online was probably the worst to do after the issue with the tour.
A brand new motherfucking Rollie, and guess what? It's black up top and it's blue down low. It's called the Batman if you ain't know. Ha! And guess what? You can get it for $2 at doubleup.front.
To make matters worse, Brooklyn natives have turned against him and are acting like he's brought the reputation of this legendary town down with him.
Bobby Shmurda is the biggest disappointment in Brooklyn history.
Damn.
We begged Bobby to get out of jail. We waited. We were desperate for the release of Bobby Shmurda. And when he came out, all we got was a gay Riddler. He looks like a gay Riddler.
A gay?
Through that
What
tap
does that even mean? A gay
and,
Riddler?
A male phone came back down. This is Bobby Shmurda.
Oh, okay. The Riddler.
But
Okay,
even
I
if
get
you
it.
don't think
I
he's
get it.
destroyed a hood like some local Brooklynites, the one thing that everyone can agree on is that refusing to seize the moment when he first came out has resulted in him becoming less of an icon he could have been, and more of a former star who lost his way. He told everyone he wants to chill instead of releasing more music. His downfall is his fault. Bro failed to understand how supply and demand works. Although he's only 30 years old now, it's hard to envision any way that Bobby can get back to where he was 10 years ago. But at the very least, it seems like he's turned around. So hopefully he stays out of trouble and finds peace, even if it's in a place that's far away from the spotlight.
Damn. Bro, let's keep it real, bro. It's his fault. It's his own fault. Just like that tweet said, supply and demand. When you're in demand, you supply. Even if you supply a little bit, at least you supply. Bro, fumbled the biggest bag. But if you enjoyed, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and peace.